Okay, hello again. Hopefully this works again. Um, we just beat Sora's route, and we copied her onto a 1 terabyte disk to get all of her. And we talked about Pygmalion again. And for a moment, Takeshi felt like Sora was real. And then, yeah, we lost consciousness in the ocean, obviously. I think it's implied that we died. However, the control room reveals that there is one life reading left, and I don't know who that could be. Anyway, so now we're starting a new route. This route is going to be played as the kid. We've never done this before, so I'm going to be reading a lot more again. Let's see. Alright, so we've seen this intro before. Let's see if I can skip. Woohoo! I'll let you know when I can skip. I'm skipping. You'll probably hear me get really excited whenever it skips. Because that means I don't have to talk. Yeah. So we all know all this. Basically the intro of the game is you're flipping between two perspectives and then you have to choose who your main character is. Let's see. This route we're going to learn more about you. So I'm gonna listen to the joke. And I'm gonna skip through, because we've done that already. Yeehaw! Oh, hey, there's that girl that no one has seen. I'm going to blame the Tanuki. And then skip! Zoom! Is the music distorted? I hope it's not. Is the music distorted? Okay. Hopefully it's not. It sounds normal to me. Okay, for this I'm going to stay silent. Skip. Whee! Uh-oh. Something's happening. Okay. Now, this time, I'm going to say, who am I? And now I am the kid. Okay. I don't think I can skip any of this, unfortunately. Let me give it a shot. No, absolutely not. Okay, well, here I am. I'm going to be the kid. And... Alright, I'm probably going to use my normal voice for him just because it's easier for me in the long run. Anyway. I didn't know where I was, but I quietly opened my eyes. The next thing I knew, I was on a bed. The ceiling was so white that it was slightly blinding. It smelled of disinfectant. I wondered where I was. Are you awake now? It's 3:17 p.m. A shadow passed above me on the bed. I wondered who it could be. No, wait a minute. Somewhere. I felt like I had met that person somewhere before. How are you doing? You look alright enough. Who was it? I knew her. I was sure that I knew her. Still, I couldn't put my finger on any one thing about her that I knew. The more I thought about it, the more the area around my temples pounded with pain. It's you! Oh, I guess it's no good then. Does your head hurt? I pressed my temples with my fingers of both hands, nodding slightly. I see. Just wait a second, alright? I'll try to find some painkillers. Jeez, 0 to 60. She laughed sweetly and stepped away from me. I raised myself up and looked around. The room was completely white, with a number of beds tidily lined up in a row. Looking behind me was a curved glass window in the wall. I got off the bed, put on my shoes, which were neatly arranged below me, and approached the window. Outside, as far as the eye could see, was one endless sheet of blue. Transparent waves of light swayed gently in the dense, deep navy mist. I think that's just water, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. I put both of my hands on the wall and pushed my face up against the glass. Just then, a flash of silver light darted across my vision. For an instant, I was afraid. Then I noticed it was just a fish. This is the middle of the ocean. What's the matter? At some point, the girl had come to stand beside me. Of course it is. This is the Lemu Infirmary. Lemu. The instant I heard that word, a flash of searing light reappeared in the back of my mind. I was right. That was right. I had come to Lemu. The theme park of Lemu floating in the ocean. I had been walking around Lemu with her. There was ancient ruins, jellyfish, whale floating in the darkness, jellyfish gondola, merry-go-round. But why? Why had I come to that place, to Lemu? Where had I come for fun? Of course I had. It was a theme park after all. But was that right? Was that really the reason? Violent head pain struck me again. I shook my head again and again, my face distorted with pain. Hey, are you alright? Shouldn't you rest a little more? She helped support me as I returned to the bed. I brought you some headache medicine. She held 2 white pills in her left hand. In her right was a cup filled with water. White pills, 2 of them. I say, thanks. Thanks. I took the pills and gulped them down. It's probably just mild barotrauma or a decompression sickness. It happens to a lot of visitors. They just feel ill all of a sudden and get carted in here. She said that as she slyly took the cup from my hand. I sank my head back onto the fluffy pillow. It's a bit rough coming down here anyway. People with no experience just jumping to 6 atmospheres for long periods of time? Sheesh. The air pressure in the Earth's atmosphere is made for people to live comfortably. Of course, people are going to have bad reactions to breathing air of this thick. Air and first love, both should be light, no doubt about that. Coffee and your first time? Those, of course, are better thick. Whoa! Whoa! What? I'm sorry. She's talking to a child? What the fuck? Okay. Alright. I've never heard that comparison ever in my life. Even Kid is just like, huh? She touched my face with the palm of her hand. Sorry. You need to leave. Anyway. The backs of her slender fingers stroked my cheek. The smooth texture of her skin slipped down from my neck to above my chest, stopping there. I don't remember this. I'm so sorry. It's alright. You don't seem to have a fever. She smiled at me. Somehow I felt all embarrassed. I pulled the bed cover up to my eyes and hid my face. Just rest like that for a while, okay? I'll go see what's going on outside. Outside? Yes, how should I put this? While you were asleep, it seems that there was a bit of trouble. Huh? I'll explain it later. Anyway, just rest up and don't worry about anything for now, okay? Seeing me nod, she walked away from the bed. Hey, wait a second. What? Just let me ask you one more thing. What might that be? Why am I here? You just told me that this is the Lemu Infirmary, right? You passed out all of a sudden on the kiosk at Whiterstock. And then some guy and I hauled you here. You don't remember what happened? Kiosk. At the kiosk. In front of a big window. A sweet, sweet smell. Something covering my body. The lemur mascot. You hit me! That's right. I remember. I was struck dizzy. Like something being stolen away. I lost consciousness and... So, do you remember? Yes. Do you have any other questions? I shook my head and answered. Well, be a good boy and wait here, alright? I'll be right back. She patted my head gently and began walking for the door, while I turned my head to stare at her back. My last name is Tanaka. And my first name is Yu. My real name is much longer, though. But it's such a pain. You can just call me Yu. I remembered her words. Yu turned at the door and looked back at me, lifting her hand to wave, and left the infirmary. All alone inside the quiet room, it was like time had stopped. I didn't know if the medicine had started to work or not, but my headache was completely gone. As I stared at the ceiling, I thought about the events leading up to my being in that bed. Before I passed out, I had been walking around Lemu with you. We had gone to a shop and were talking, and we rode an egg-shaped elevator up 2 floors. Before I had met you, I had been in a small park. I was on a bench in that park. I was waiting for someone. Who? Who was I waiting for? I didn't know. My memory was a fog, and thinking about events after that would make my mind seemingly cloud over. I shook my head several times, trying to clear it and concentrate. Why was I there? Why had I come to Lemu? Did I come alone, or was I with someone else? What was I doing before I came to Lemu? How had I arrived at the amusement park? It's no use. I can't remember. The thread of my memory was cut off right there. I couldn't recall anything beyond the time at the park bench, enjoying my ice cream. It was like getting lost in a forest and going to turn back only to discover that everything had gone dark. I felt very strange. I felt like I was just in the middle of a dream. I felt like I'd lost something very important, but I didn't know what that something was. And not being able to move forward made me feel like that it was specifically because I had lost something important. I felt an unpleasant sense of something lacking, and that sense of something not being quite right irritated me. I took my right hand out from under the blanket and stared dreamily at my palm, the countless wrinkles etched there, intertwining, reaching out like the branches of a tree in a complicated pattern. The pinkish skin, and buried deeper, the slightly blue veins. And 5 fingers. Had my hand always had this strange shape? Bizarre thoughts hit me from nowhere. No, my right palm was no different than it had ever been, yet for some reason I felt like I had to doubt even that natural fact. Maybe, just maybe, until a few hours ago, I might have had 6 fingers, or 7, or maybe even 8. I felt like something was wrong. Could I have been feeling that way because I lost something special? I opened and closed my hands a few times, just repeating that meaningless, simple exercise. I wandered in the forest, searching for that one lost finger. Alright, now it's 3:42 p.m. The door to the infirmary opened and Yu returned. Yu dashed into the room and ran towards me as if she was going to bowl me over. What are you doing? This is no time to be sleeping. Wait, you just told me to take it. She shouted at me suddenly. Huh? Completely clueless, I simply laid there in a daze. Get up! Hurry! Yu peeled the blanket away and dragged me off the bed. What's the matter? I don't know. I don't know, but anyway, we gotta escape from here. Yu had a panicked expression. The relaxed look that had been on her face just a while back had completely vanished. Escape? To where? There's only one place. The floating island on the ocean. Why? Because I say so. Don't ask stupid questions. We're escaping because we have to escape. There was something urgent and powerful in Yu's words. She dragged me along. I felt a sharp sense of crisis from her powerful grip. I hurriedly slipped on my sneakers and fled out of the room with her. The instant we emerged into the sprawling corridor, my feet stopped. I sucked in my breath, my body froze, and I just stared at the light spreading before me. There was something missing. People, sound, warmth. No way. This can't be. The words I muttered were devoured by the eerie silence. Looking back and forth in the corridor, even the furthest direction, there was no sign of anyone. Just the man-made walls on both sides. Unnatural light, whiter than white, shone from the ceiling and gave off a cold light. Wow, that was like a nice beat right there. Sorry. Why isn't anyone here? You get it now? That's why we have to escape. Everyone. Where could everyone be? Do you think they're playing hide and seek? Anyway, there's no time to think about it now. We gotta get out of here as soon as possible, or... Saying that, Yu again tugged my arm. Hunched over on the verge of tripping, I let you lead me through the wide corridors as we ran. Our footsteps were the only sounds echoing through the quiet complex. The more we ran, the more out of breath I became. My heart was pounding. Everything just felt like a dream. A nightmare in which some unknown monster was chasing us everywhere. With no clue as to the identity of the monster nor why we needed to escape, hair-raising fear rose within me, and I was powerless to do anything. I simply cowered. In a world devoid of people, among faded colors, just used palms grasped my arm. The only certainty of her touch, that one point of contact, allowed me to retain any connection with reality. Finally, we arrived in front of the elevator. You pushed the front of the door and pushed the up button. The button was unlit. No way, you've got to be kidding! Why is this thing stopped? You struck the button repeatedly, but nothing happened. The light stayed off. There was no sign of a floor display above the elevator doors was functioning either. Hey, aren't there, like, emergency stairs or anything? She looked back and shifted her eyes around as if she was thinking. Follow me! Saying only that, she dashed off, straight down that long, stretching corridor. You turned her head left and right, looking for something. It looked like she soon found what she was looking for and headed towards it single-mindedly. A ladder. Next to it, the words "Awsang" or "emergency exit" were written in the straight red letters of arrow pointing upward. At the other end of the ladder was a ceiling with a sturdy looking door and a round-shaped handle attached to it. Are there emergency stairs on the other side? Without answering, you started climbing the ladder. She turned the handle and opened the door. Now, hurry! This is an emergency escape corridor. There's emergency stairs that run along it. You told me that quickly as we ran. The corridor stretched in a gentle arc so that the far end was not visible. The scenery was repetitive, and I began to have delusions that I was running in place. Where in the world am I right now? How far do we have to run? I just had to trust in you and chase after her back. Suddenly, you turned right. Inertia kept me going forward. Afraid I would miss the turn, I grabbed the corner with my hand, yanking myself around and chasing after you again. The route had become straight. Immediately to the left, the green-colored sign for emergency stairs was lit up. Below the light was a closed door. You jumped towards the door's handle. This is stiff! It's so... You was desperately trying to turn the handle. It won't open? It'll open! It'll open for sure! I'll make it open! Well, don't just stand there! Get over here and help me! Spurred by her words, I firmly grabbed onto the handle. I tried with all my might to turn it with the direction of the arrow that said "Offen," aka open. Offman. Offman? I don't know. Damn, what's with this? It won't budge at all. It was stuck fast, as if it had been welded shut. It didn't look like it would move to the right or left. We'll try to turn it when I say ready, go. Okay? Ready, go! With that, I threw my complete weight onto the handle. Damn. Open! Just then, sound rose from the inside of the earth, echoing heavily from somewhere, and you and I relaxed our grip and looked at each other. What was that sound? The walls shook. A small vibration shook the handle we had grabbed. The light of the ceilings flashed irregularly. The metal mesh of the floor was clanging against itself. An earthquake? It couldn't be. I'm sorry. In the middle of the ocean, after all. The vibration gradually increased in intensity. The squeaking sound of the steel against steel shook our ears. You and I held our breath, waiting still. We tried to focus, sharpening our senses, our eyes wandering the void. A low growling sound, like the groan of a monster approaching. A voice filled with hate and rage turned to a howling roar, sending shivers up my spine. Where is that coming from? Huh? What? Where is it coming from? What? Yu's voice approached a scream. Her face lost all color and her lips went dry. The eyes behind her silky swaying bangs looked as if they were about to cry. Silky swaying bangs? Wind. It's wind. Muttering that, I looked in the direction of the wind. Down the extremely long corridor, something appeared to be pushing and vying for space. No way. You're kidding. It couldn't be. Water? A monster came crashing towards us at the terrifying speed mixed in a roiled spray of water. Uh-oh, here we go. There was no doubt. It was a rushing behemoth of water. A massive froth of waves. Ah! It was not the time to be shouting. You and I started sprinting desperately. We turned left at the corner and ran. And ran and ran! The voice of the monster was right on our heels, but we couldn't look back. We looked back, we felt like we would be swallowed up. Something beyond fear or terror made our minds go completely blank. Couldn't even think. Could only run desperately for our lives. My shoulder bumped against the wall of the narrow corridor. It looked like my foot would get caught up in the bent metal flooring. Avoiding the pipes that hung down, we leapt over the raised entrance of the watertight door and ran. We just ran on and on. This has gotta be a bad dream. For an instant, that thought cut across my mind. In a world devoid of people, among faded colors, a drooling monster was reaching its bluish-white arms out towards my neck. We were spit out in the mass of water into the sprawling room. We turned head over heel in the violent water, several times, maybe even dozens of times, over and over and over, until finally my body stopped moving. Ow! Ow! I peeled my body from the soaked floor. Water was still pouring in from the far side of the open emergency entrance. It was flowing down like a waterfall and spreading smoothly towards the far corridor as if it were crawling across the floor. That's right, what about you? As I thought that, I looked back and I saw that Yu was standing up. I think she's like shinier and wet right now. I think that's what... It looks different. You okay? I shook the soaked Yu's shoulders. Okay. That was weird. I think I shook her shoulders and looked into her eyes. They were empty. Her purplish blue lips were quivering. Yu was completely dazed. You, hang on! The level of water had continued to rise during that short amount of time. What should I do? What should I... Just then, the watertight doors at the four sides of the room began to close at once. The doors are closing, ever so slowly, letting off a dull sound. You! I tried shouting and shaking her harder, but there was no response. Instead, Yu's body went limp and she collapsed on the floor. Hey, quit goofing around, come on! I took Yu's arm and put it over my shoulder, lifting her up. I started walking towards the nearest watertight door. Yu was heavy, like a stone. Water pulled around my legs so I couldn't move forward as fast as I wanted. A steel partition gradually slid up from above, and another one came from below, pushing away the water as it moved. The obstructed water swirled around. As the width between the doors narrowed, the water level increased. Come on, make it in time. Just please make it on time. Sadly, the door didn't stop moving. There was only a small opening left for us to escape. Whoa! There's no way I'm gonna die here! Giving a shout, I ran, pushing the water out of the way. Yu's slumping body weighed heavily on my shoulder, but I couldn't let go of her arm. I pulled together with all my power. Almost there! Almost right there! Whomp. With one hand, I grabbed hold of the edge of the bulkhead. Just barely. Just a few seconds after I squeezed our bodies through that narrow gap, the watertight door closed completely. We placed our backs against the closed door and collapsed. There was almost no sense of relief. Both my legs were shaking. My heart was beating like it would explode. We spent a few moments in there in stupor. It's 4:15 p.m. The next thing I knew, the seawater had mostly disappeared from the floor. That wasn't to say that it was completely dry. It was still wet. And my body... and Yu's body. Achoo! We were still soaked. Are you alright? Huh? What? You were really out of it until just a second ago. Who was? You were. Me? I was. Yu stood up and shook her wet hair in hand, wiping away the water droplets around her eyes with the palm of her other hand. Oh, that's right! The water carried us away! Carried and carried and carried us away! And what happened? We got swept into the next corridor over. And then all of a sudden the watertight doors started to close. But you were all spacey. And to make things worse, you fainted. So, how did we get out? I got us out. You? Yeah. Really? What, you don't believe me? But... you seem more like the type who needs help rather than dishes help out. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, it's just a joke. I'm just kidding. If you really did save us, I suppose I should thank you. Thank you. You bowed her head slightly. Do you really mean it? Of course, I guess. You guess? I said I was joking. You take everything so seriously. You're just an innocent youngin'. Oh, whatever. I suppose I owed you one anyway. Owed me? When I collapsed at the shop, you helped me, right? So, now we're even. When I said that, Yu's face lit up in a smile. Anyway, enough of that. Let's hurry up and find an exit. Yeah, you never know when there might be more flooding. Yu was checking the ceiling and walls as she started walking. I followed along behind her. Alright, it's 4:20. Ayo! We cut across the wide room heading for the exit. There was a big, empty mechanical merry-go-round, without music or the voices of children playing. Only its bright lights glowed with a lonely sort of way. Hey, that reminds me. I haven't even asked your name yet. Huh? Name. Your name. Oh, yeah. That. My name is... And? I didn't know. I didn't know my name. My name. There was no way. It couldn't be. I should know it. It's my name. My very own name. Name. Then all of a sudden, a shock shot through my whole body. Ugh. What's the matter? My head hurt. It seemed like it would split right open. I held my head in both arms and crumpled forward. Are you alright? Grinding my teeth, I desperately tried to endure the pain. Darkness blanketed my eyes. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't hear anything. The darkness invaded my brain and glommed together. I've never heard of that. It was a glob that would devour my brain and dissolve it into mush. Hey! Hang in there! Hey! I didn't know my name. How could I possibly be? 4:53 p.m. The next thing I knew, I was on a bed. The ceiling was so white that it was slightly blinding. It smelled of disinfectant. Are you awake now? Shadow passed above me on the bed. You looked at me as if she was worried. This is... Back to the beginning, thanks to you. The beginning? The infirmary, huh? Hey, next time you decide to go and keel over, can you do it somewhere a little closer to this room? Because it was really a pain hauling you piggyback all the way here. Sorry. Oh, it's alright. You don't have to apologize. By the way, do you remember your name? Name. That's right, my name. Oh, hold on a sec. You don't have to try and force yourself to remember. I don't want you to go getting like you did before, alright? You said it very carefully. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So just calm down. I want you to relax and answer them. Alright? Sure. First, do you know today's date? Today is the 1st. May 1st, right? You remember the date. So how about your age? Age? Your birthday will do, either way. Tried hard to pull together the threads of my memory. My age, my birthday. When I started to think about it, my temples began to throb. Hey, no straining yourself. If you can't remember, then you can't remember. Just say so. But that didn't mean I couldn't just stop thinking about it. I endured the headache as I felt like I wandered through a lost forest. There had to be an exit hidden somewhere. I just didn't know where. Okay, I got it. So you don't remember your name, age, or birthday, right? So how about your address or a telephone number? If not those, then how about your family or friends or anything? You really can't remember. It was just like you said. I didn't have any memories of anything. A sense of something not being right gnawed at my mind. No, it was something closer to a sense of loss. I felt like I had lost the bulk of my existence, like someone who had stolen me away, and the me who was left was an empty shell. The me that was there. Who knew if it was even the real me? The instant that thought went through my mind, I was frozen by an icy wave of unease. Scared, isolated, lonely. You? I grabbed firmly onto Yu's hand. Her warm palm. The warmth was the only thing saving me. It's all right now. What are you, a baby? Stop with that sad face. She shot me a smile as she squeezed my hand back. Yeah, I don't think amnesia is all that uncommon. Amnesia? You don't have any memory, so you're memory loss or amnesia, right? Of course that's what it is. I wonder what caused it. The air pressure change? Or maybe you hit your head somewhere? Or maybe some severe mental shock? Like maybe you were riding a crazy ride and you panicked or something. But don't worry. It's probably just temporary. It'll come back. Think so? For sure. Of course, you were in a major accident and had severe trauma in the brain. That would be a whole different thing. But that doesn't seem to be the case. You put her hand on my hair and gave me a smile so bright I almost needed sunglasses. That smile flooded into my heart, wiping away the remains of unease that was swirling in there. So, do you want to get going? I could sing you a lullaby or tuck you in, but unfortunately, we don't have time to relax. You understand, right? I nodded and got up off the bed. You started walking for the door. My eyes stopped on the bluish ribbon on Yu's back. The ribbon seemed to have taken on water and glittered brightly, almost like the wings of a newborn fairy. 5:01 p.m. It's no good. It doesn't seem to open. You said that after trying to move the door with her weight several times. Those were the emergency stairs. Or more accurately, it was the passage on the way there. The emergency stairs there were wound in a spiral around a fat pipe. We followed those stairs, and they would take us to the floating island, at least in theory. But then, right in front of us stood a thick steel wall. The wall had a small watertight door, and if we couldn't squeeze through that, then we couldn't make our way up any higher. This isn't the floating island yet, is it? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Not even. I mean, we haven't hit Ersterboden. We have still a long way to go. Ersterboden? Was that the first basement floor? You nodded. What does that mean in terms of depth? How deep is it? Let's see. Zwiderstock is 34 meters deep, so around 30 meters, give or take, I guess. We only climbed around 4 or 5 meters of those stairs. 30 meters deep. 30 meters sounded so close, but in any event, the door didn't open up, and that was it. Hey, I wonder why it won't open. Who knows? Maybe there's a secret spell or something. Spell? You mean like open sesame, like that kind of spell? There you go, taking me seriously. Well, what then? You really want to know? Yeah. Maybe you better not ask. Huh? So what are you gonna do? Do you want to hear it or not? Which one is it? Alright, what do I gotta say? Do I say ask or don't ask? Hold on. Ask. I want to know. Okay, I'll tell you. You were just talking about how the watertight doors started closing all of a sudden, right? Yeah. Well, that means the doors closed automatically. Closed automatically? Limit detected flooding and automatically shut the doors in all the areas that were in danger. What's limit? That's what we call the main conductor that supervises and manages all the electronic systems in Lemu. So what? So what? Here, I'll show you. Clang, clang. You knocked on the steel door with her lightly closed fist. This was probably closed by the limit as well. I see. So, in other words, the other side of the door is flooded with water. Probably. She had been right. It really wasn't something I had wanted to hear. If the doors were simply locked, all we had to do was find a way to open it, and then we can climb up to freedom. But on the other side was full of seawater. Then, thinking beyond that was no fun. So, what do we do now? I guess we could go check out the other emergency stairs? That's all we can do, right? You said that with a sign, started heading down the stairs. After that, we tried 2 emergency sets of stairs in the area, but both were a waste of effort. They were shut off by thick partitions, making it impossible to climb up to Zwiderstock. According to you, there were a total of 12 emergency staircases in Lemu. 3 of those were closed off, so that left 9. You and I walked those emergency corridors searching for those 9, but we met with a dead end. A dead end. And another dead end. The watertight doors were completely shut and there was no way of getting to them to open naturally. So we gave up and headed out into the normal corridors to see if we could work our way around using them. But still, we met with a dead end. And another dead end. And another dead end. And inside the sprawling Lemu complex was a web of several dozen corridors. We investigated each, only finding closed doors everywhere. It seemed hopeless. Both normal corridors and the emergency corridors were sealed. All of them were blocked off. The only thing left for us to try was Dritterstock. It looks like the only thing left to do is go down a floor. With all the elevators out of action, the emergency stairs were our only choice. Thankfully, 1/3 of the remaining 3 stairways were still operating, which meant that even if there was no going up, we could still go down. You and I wound around and around in the spiral staircase until we reached Dritterstock, 3 floors underwater. It's 5:30 p.m. Water! I muttered without thinking when we reached the floor. As far as I could see, the floor was a sheet of water that had flooded in. I was about up to my ankles. There's water flooding in from somewhere else. No, I don't think so. The water's not moving, is it? When she mentioned it, I realized that there wasn't even a ripple on the water's surface. There's no evidence that the water's level was increasing. I looked around to be sure, but there wasn't any signs of water was leaking anywhere. Well then, what is this? This must be from the water that washed us away earlier. I figure the seawater that pooled on Zwiderstock flowed down here. Maybe via the emergency stairs or a vent, I don't know, but somewhere it flowed down here. Hey, do you remember that saying? About how water flows downhill? I didn't know that was a saying, but okay. We entered the room from a door along the corridor. The room's massive ancient remains were steeped in water, making it seem just like the seafloor had risen up. As you and I looked around the wide room, our legs splashed with water all over. Our drenched clothes were drying, so we didn't really feel the cold. Sorry. The water on the floor was not as cold as I expected, but walking in the water with shoes was, well, unpleasant. Finally, when we turned into a corridor, we heard an unexpected sound. Bam, 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 bam. Hey, did you hear something just now? We stopped and listened. Bam, 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 bam. Someone was hitting something. Somewhere nearby. There are other people here. Other people that were left behind. We ran at full speed in the direction of the sound. Hey! Somebody! Somebody! Is there anybody there? Anyone? 2 female voices were coming from inside the elevator. You and I looked around at each other and nodded. Hold on, just a little longer. We're going to open the door just for you. Alright, oh, good. I was worried that no one would come. The voice from inside sounded well. It didn't sound weak or injured. Hang on, how are we going to open this? You placed her hands on the door and pushed left and right. Ugh! How do we keep running into problems like this? It won't open? If you were paying attention, you'd be able to tell. You give it a try. I switched places with you and reached out to try and open the door. It didn't budge. Come on, put some power into it. I tried, but put my fingers in the crack in the door, but my fingernails just barely squeezed in and nothing happened. Ow. Blood started oozing from the nail of my index finger. Ugh. But it was the digit next to it that caught my eye. thumb on my left hand. Hey, I noticed a distinct mark on it. On the meaty part of my thumb was a deep scar about a centimeter long. I had wondered about it. I wondered if I'd had it for long. The mouth of the cut was swollen with milky white colored. Are you alright? Her question brought me back to reality. Oh, you're bleeding, let me see. You grabbed my left hand and suddenly bent my thumb under it, hiding the scar. For some reason, I didn't want her to see it. You took an adhesive bandage from her pocket and placed it on my bloody finger. I swear, you need so much looking after. Thanks. My finger smelled faintly sweet. The door still won't open. But it seems like someone else needs even more looking after than you do. What should we do? Oh, that's right, you muttered. She searched around in her pocket for something. She took out a... Drum roll, please! Ta-da! A marker! It was just a felt-tip pen. See? You take this like this and then do this and around and around and around. And she said that she screwed the capped end into the space between the doors. A gap appeared. See? I don't know how that worked, but okay. I jabbed my finger into the gap and started forcing the door open. A box inside, the part where the people ride, was stuck right before arriving at Dritterstock. So, above the door, jutting out 50 centimeters or so, there was a lower bit of the elevator box. It was completely at the height. If I stretched my hand out completely, I could just reach. If we could get the box open, it seemed possible to pull the people trapped inside over to our side. Shoulder ride. Use one sentence said it all. As she implied, I stood in front of her and spread my legs, bracing myself. Hey, why do I have to lift you up? Huh? I meant the opposite way around. In this type of situation, it's the stronger person that's on the bottom, right? I went around you wordlessly, squatting down. You was wearing a skirt, after all. One reason I tried to be on top was I thought it would save her the embarrassment. As I was thinking that, you straddled my head with her legs, put both of my hands on my knees, supporting myself, and stood up all at once. Her soft thighs hugged my head. She was pressed against the back of my neck. It was kinda nice. Hey, wait, hold on, we're almost there. Please help. You took the marker and started prying between the doors again. She stuck her finger in the gap, and then suddenly she opened the door with a flourish. Look who it is! A person we've never seen before. Wow! With you on my shoulders, I looked up. A girl in uniform was peeking down. Whoa! Ah! Ah! I didn't know why, but all three of us exclaimed at once. Just then I felt something like an electric shock run through me. Severe lights went off in my mind and I heard the sound of something snapping. I was suddenly dizzy. I lost sense of balance and I swayed forward and back. My vision and consciousness were overrun by white. I couldn't take any more. Ah! I fell to the floor like a marionette with a string snipped. Ah, jeez! Why'd you have to fall like that? You could have hurt somebody. Jeez. Lazy. Kids these days are so lazy. Things began to fall back into focus. I was lying on my back looking at the ceiling. The lights were shining down brightly. The girls were pointing at me and laughing. Their innocent faces were enveloped in celestial-like light, just like a couple of angels staring down from heaven. Hey, are you alright? I didn't know why. It was a bizarre sense of something like deja vu that came swelling up in my mind. I felt like I had seen it all before. The angelic smiling faces somehow made me feel nostalgic, like it was a fragment of some familiar everyday scenery. I couldn't explain it, but somehow I had a vague sense about things. Huh? Why is the floor all wet? Did a water pipe burst? Oh, they didn't know it was because they'd been stuck in the elevator. As I was about to answer, the girl cut me off. But more importantly, there she is. Just, what are you doing here, Nakyu? The girl said that as she descended from the elevator, patting her clothes back into place. I should be asking you that. Mayo, what are you doing here? Mayo? The other girl's name was Mayo? What do you mean? If I gotta figure out a voice for her. What do you mean? If you took a look at my outfit, you'd know. You're on a school trip? That's for seniors. Oh, right. Mayo, you're still a junior, huh? Right. So, what then? Have you forgotten everything about your old high school every day? Huh? Volunteer activities. At Macon, juniors are supposed to go out and volunteer somewhere, right? Nakyu, you graduated this year, so you gotta remember, right? Oh, that's right. The volunteer program. The Civil Service Volunteer Program. Well, that was just the official name, but it was really just a glorified field trip. Still the same old deal, I bet. The girls go help out at Lemu for a day or something stupid like that. You got it! Just when I was there, I used to go to United Land, but I guess they changed it to Lemu, huh? You don't see any other students, did you, Nakyu? The whole Macon junior class should be here. No, I didn't see anyone. While the two of them were talking, I decided to sneak a peek at the elevator that Mayo was stuck in. I grabbed onto the entrance of the box and used my momentum to pull myself up. It was empty inside. I thought I had heard 2 girls inside. I wonder if my mind was playing tricks on me. I let go of the elevator and dropped to the floor. Hey, what are you doing? You asked me that when I returned to the ground. I'm going to say I have a choice of ask you or don't ask you. I don't know. I think I just asked. I'm gonna try. Well, before, didn't you hear 2 voices? 2? You shot the question right back at me and then looked back at Mayo. No, I was all alone. Nobody else. I see. I guess it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Mayo would glance over at me from time to time, but when our eyes met, she would look away. Nakyu, who's this? Oh, this guy? He's just a visitor. We met just a while ago, but you know, a lot of things have happened since then. Nice to meet you? There was something a little off about Mayo's greeting. And this is Mayo. She goes to your old high school. Wait. She goes to your old high school? Nice to meet you too. I don't understand what this dialogue is. But then again, my words are pretty stiff as well. But her real name is Matsunaga Sara. Sara? So why Mayo? Matsunaga Sara. Tuna Sara. Tuna salad is loaded with mayonnaise. At least for Nakyu it is. Huh, I see. It's such a far off name, but okay. Anyway. I said that, but I still didn't really get it. I had feelings that the simple salad dressing was better suited to tuna salad. Well, whatever. It wasn't important. By the way, your name is... My name? Yeah, your name. Oh no, we're gonna start this all again. My name is... he can't remember. What? Amnesia. That's what. Amnesia? Really? Yeah. Oh, wow, cool! Wow? That's kind of cool, isn't it? Like, I mean, it's like Amnesia. Sounds kind of like an international man of mystery kind of thing. Like, maybe you could be, like, hunted for an underground organization or assassins or something. Assassins? I wouldn't kill anyone. I keep trying to tell you not to take things so seriously. Huh. Amnesia. You really do have it, that amnesia thing? Sarah kept staring at me as if I were something exotic. Like I were an angel, replete with a set of wings on my back. The divine nostalgic feeling from before had vanished like an illusion. Alright, 5:49. Sorry. The three of us aimed for an exit. Understandably, Sarah couldn't hide her surprise when she saw how the complex had changed. What's this? Why is this whole place flooded? And there doesn't seem to be anyone around. While we walked, we brought Sarah up to speed with the situation. Yu was working at Leimu on a part-time basis. I collapsed at the kiosk. Falling down, I was hauled to the infirmary. After finishing the story, Yu went on. And then, suddenly an alarm started ringing. Alarm? What? I didn't tell you about this yet? Ow. While you were out, they rang the emergency evacuation alarm. I didn't know why, but it said, anyone please escape or something like that. Mio, you heard it too, right? Yeah. The elevator suddenly stopped and I got stuck inside. I think it was right after that's when I heard the alarm. And then there were 3 other staff members and myself in the infirmary. The other 3 said that they would go back and check on what was going on and never came back, but I waited and no one returned. The only 2 people left in the room were us 2. I couldn't just abandon you there. Besides, at that point, I wasn't really even that worried. I probably figured that some kid had just gone and pushed the emergency alarm button. That was all I thought was going on. I figured that even with a prank, it must have been serious for them to go sound the emergency evacuation warning. Well, now that you mention it, I suppose so. But at the same time, I don't know, I just didn't know. I was worried about this kid. You were worried about me? Well, sure. And then what happened? Everything after that was old news to me. The closing of the watertight doors, the search for the emergency stairs to the floating island, and of course, you told Sarah about how we got washed away by a flood of water. After that, you, Sarah, and I did a complete check of Dritterstock's corridors, but we met with a dead end, and another dead end, and another dead end, and a dead end, and another dead end, and another dead end. And the final place that we ended up was in front of a small door at the end of a narrow corridor. In the middle, the word Himmel was engraved. What's this? Good question. This is the first time I've been here. After saying that, you took hold of the doorknob. It didn't open. It didn't even budge. Next, she started tapping randomly on a 10-key display next to the door. You would have known that it would be a waste of energy. So this is the end. You punctuated that with a sigh. The end? You mean we're... Yep. Looks like we're locked in. Gong. You weakly kicked the door. Following the sound, we went silent. The atmosphere was heavy around us. Both you and Sarah wore tired expressions as if they couldn't even be bothered to speak anymore. It was a gloomy silence. Try and lighten things up, I said. Hey, anyway, it doesn't do us any good to just stand around here. We've got to think of something. Something? A way to escape. Do you have any bright ideas? Well, let's see. How about... let's try to contact the outside. For example, we could try to contact the outside or something. How? Cell phones don't even work. Even without cell phones, Leimu must have other means of communicating, right? Means of communication. Oh, right, the control room. Why didn't I think of this until now? From there, we should at least be able to contact someone on the floating island. Yu's face lit up again. Right, next light returned to Sarah's eyes as well. But 6:24 p.m. Crash. Oh, got a special illustration that's very anime. Yu is slamming the control panel with her feet and holding up a chair as Sarah is trying to hold her back. You did a fantastic heel stomp on the console in the control room. What's this? Why won't it go through? What's the matter? It looked like she was going to rant. Nope, she was already ranting. Hey, Naki, wait a second. Hey, what are you going to do with that chair? I'm going to smash this stupid thing into a million pieces. I'm going to destroy it, crush it to smithereens, absolutely pulverize it. Take it easy, just calm down. How do you expect to stay calm in a situation like this? How can all of the communication lines be down? Email too, even the emergency line won't go through. Is this possible? I don't get it, something's wrong here. Still, you don't have to destroy... Shut up, I've had enough. Sarah and I restrained you and dragged her outside of the control room. She's got that amazing image. Okay. Yu's eyes were bloodshot like a rabid dog. Somehow her fantasy-like outfit seemed out of place. Well, if it's come to this, there's nothing else to do. Let's just split up again and look for an exit. It's no use after we already looked everywhere, but we haven't looked inside the other rooms. I see. There might be something like a secret passage hidden or something. There's no way, this isn't a ninja house, you know. Anyway, let's just look one more time, okay? Because there might be a helpless maiden trapped somewhere like I was. Ninja! What, I don't know what that's all about. So with that, the three of us, Sarah, you, and I, split up and started searching the complex. We agreed we'd meet again in an hour. We decided to meet in front of the control room. Okay, well that's enough for me. About an hour and a half of doing this. We did an ending before, and now we're doing the new route with Kid and you. And thanks for coming, and I'll post this as soon as I can. Okay, bye!